Hello and welcome to the Fan Zone. The weather may have changed, but come on down, people, because we have the riders of tomorrow here, the next Olympic champions on the stage. Of course, I've got Bobby Hayler here as well, but we're live on social media, and the background is just about to fall over, Millie. You might want to get on that. But we are live on social media, and I have three wonderful young riders on here. I have the wonderful Ruby Hughes, Annabella Pidgley, and Izzy Lickley. And Izzy, not Isobel. I'm going to be able to call you Izzy. Right, no formal names here. Welcome to the stage. You all look utterly terrified, but please don't be. If you're going to be as good at riding as you have been, then you better get used to this and used to me, because you're going to have to be doing a lot more of this. I'm going to start with the youngest of the group, Ruby. I've spoken to you lots of times in the past. First of all, British dressage, you're here competing at the Nationals. How are you getting on? You are in brand new boots. You're looking very smart. How's it been going here at the Nationals?
It's been going great, thanks. I've got actually 3 horses here, and I did the under-21s class today, and it all went well. And I have the pony here, who's been absolutely amazing. We've had a few baby mistakes, as she's only 8, so she's still quite young. I've had extra time here, we're quite a new partnership, and I did the juniors on him, and he was a very good boy, except for one mistake, which I'm extremely happy with, to be able to just be going through these tests. And then I've also had BG here, and he's very unique, but he definitely brings it out the bag, I have to say. He's an amazing horse to ride, and he definitely gives me a feel. And he was my first proper big horse, and he's taught me so much.
And you're saying that your first proper big horse. I mean, I've seen videos, because I know Carl Hester's your godfather, and I've seen lots of videos of you on Vallegro, so I know that's one big horse that you've had to rid, and might have to talk about that later. But the transition from ponies to horses, you're still riding ponies, you're still on horses, got big horses. How have you found that? How is it riding? Because I know obviously you've ridden and stolen. I know your mum's out there. You steal her horses a lot. But how do you find that change? How do you find the change riding between ponies and horses?
It was definitely a very big change, as I definitely not actually had a proper pony before I started riding BG, and now it's not too bad going, well, it's amazing going between the horses, but it's not too bad because Lola she rides like a horse, so she's got the feeling of a mini horse. So when I go to the horses, they just feel like a bigger version of Lola. Well,
it is amazing. And you've just come back after vaulting as well. There's no end to your talent, and TikTok dancing, by the way. I saw you rope your dad into that during lockdown. It almost inspired me to get going, and then, no, I am a rubbish dancer.
We don't see that.
No, thanks, Bobby.
Right, I just think, Ruby's fine,
You're in, like, wedding mode at the moment. I know she's getting dance lessons. She's going to be teaching us soon.
That was supposed to be private, not to tell everybody.
But the vaulting, congratulations. You are amazing at like, literally, your parents must be the most proudest people on earth. Tell us about the vaulting. Tell us about being abroad. And are you dressage, vaulting? Can you do both to this top level? Or are you going to have to pick one at some point?
Thank you so much. You don't have to actually pick between the vaulting and the dressage, so I'll definitely do it for as long as I can. Though, as a career, I'd do the dressage, as I have my parents to help me, and I have the horses. Like, I've got my 3 here, and I definitely choose dressage as my career, though the vaulting's been amazing, as I did my first internationals in the vaulting beforehand, and it just gives you a taste of the real atmosphere, and they shove on this loud music and you run in, and it's so much fun. And it definitely helps your dressage with the balance and your seat, so it's helped my seat incredibly, and definitely my balance.
Your bravery as well. Like, the things you do is unbelievable. Right, so we'll move on to Annabella Pidgley. Annabella, you had to sit in a car with utter legends going around the arena yesterday. I know that was quite nerve-wracking for you, but you've had a fantastic summer with the horses. You've won lots of medals, but our first individuals in the junior Europeans. Tell us a little bit about the horse you took there. And I know you've been performing on the same horse here.
Yeah, I got Sultan, my horse that I took to the Europeans in March this year, so I haven't had him very long at all, but we really clicked from the get-go, and I think that's why we've been able to produce some really good results throughout the whole season. He's such a trier, and he's so cool in the arena. He doesn't change. He just goes in and tries his heart out, and he's actually naughtier at home than he is at competitions. Like, when he gets in between those whiteboards, he knows that it's time to do his job, and yeah, but at prize givings, he also is very naughty and really enjoys himself. And then being with Carl and Charlotte and Gareth yesterday in the car and doing the medal parade was absolutely amazing. I never thought I'd be sat in a car with those three incredible riders, and it's really inspiring, and it's really made me want to keep aiming for more.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's not easy. I mean, you guys obviously see these top riders, the highs and lows, and horses is hard. So winning those medals, has that given you an appetite? And can you see those Olympics now? Like, you're like, that's my goal. I want those medals.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics has always been a big dream for me. Ever since I was younger, it's definitely a huge motivation. But it definitely, in the short term, I'd love to do more Europeans and aim for more European medals and just keep growing with Sultan as a partnership.
And did you find that winning medals is what spurs you on, or is it just the horses going better for you? What is it? What's your main driving force?
I think doing a really good test and coming out and being like, I don't regret anything that I did there, and I really rode the best I could, is definitely the most rewarding thing. Like at the Europeans in the team test, I rode the best test I've ever ridden. I had no mistakes, and I was so pleased with him, and we did win the overall the team test. So I was so pleased with him, and then to get 2 silver medals, also doing really good tests. That's what motivates me, like working towards getting, you know, improving every single movement rather than the medals. The medals is just an outcome of really being at my best.
Such a mature answer. I don't think I could have given an answer like that at 16. And Izzy, you're the oldest of the group, but you've had a huge success as well. We were talking to Ruby there about that transition between ponies to horses. It's a really tough transition, isn't it? And how have you found it? And how are you finding now being on the international circuit and riding at this top level? What are you finding out? And how did you find the transition?
I was very lucky that...
Hold a bit higher. There we go.
I was very lucky that the horse that I had to transition on was quite a small horse. So it wasn't going from extremes of a tiny pony to a big horse. So I didn't find the transition as difficult as it could necessarily be. It's very different having different movements in the test and almost learning a different test. You ride the same test for 5 years. So getting it in your head that you have to ride a completely different test and you don't go in the test and ride the same kind of mental program, that's almost the struggle from transitioning to ponies to juniors.
And actually, Bobby, we were talking with Spencer Wilton about that, weren't we, yesterday? It's really interesting hearing Izzy talk about that. And you were saying that as well. I mean, you could probably give these girls bucket loads of advice about learning new tests, because once you're at that certain level, you ride the same test all the time. So it's so interesting hearing Izzy talk about that.
Yeah, it's very difficult, I think, more with the test front when you go from the pony junior riders, like you were saying, especially when you go up to the U25s. So it is a very difficult thing because you're so trained at every point of the marker when you're supposed to be doing something in the ponies to the juniors. But, you know, we're talking about your international success, which was all amazing and everything. But how are you feeling being at the brand new national championships?
It's amazing. I think the way the arenas are set up are so incredible, and it's very similar to an international called Hagen, how the 2 arenas are set up, and you can see both arenas and how the warm-ups are set up. It's just very incredible. It's amazing to have a showground like this in the UK.
And are you all looking forward to watching the Grand Prix later? You're feeling inspired by it? Well, you have to support your father, of course. So basically, when you... You've made me pause now, looking at you. I'm not used to being sat this side.
She's not used to seeing me. I'll just look so you can see the crowds instead.
So obviously, looking at the arena is a little bit difficult than when we were at Stoneleigh. How do you feel about having the main sort of VIP hospitality down the middle of the arena, either side? Did you find that it made the arena a little bit different? Were you a little bit nervous going in like that? Or did your horses just take it in their stride? I don't mind either.
Izzy, we'll start with you and we'll work our way around.
I think it's incredible that they can see both arenas, because when you're part of the VIP, you could only see almost one arena at Stoneleigh. So if you want to see one person in one arena and the other person in the other, you can just turn your chair around, which I think is really, really good.
And then
Yeah, I agree with Izzy. I think it's amazing that you can see both arenas because although there is the main arena which has more seating, you know, it includes all the arenas and it doesn't make one arena feel less than the other. Like I today competed in both and they both had atmosphere, and it's so nice to see people coming and watching now and, you know, looking around and being able to recognise so many people that have come to watch and support, and it's a really great atmosphere here.
And you were saying that was quite a big thing for you, wasn't it? Because when we were talking earlier, you were saying you're just loving having everybody around and feeling that there's just a lot more support. And like you were saying, the atmosphere there. And it's nice to be able to have your family and things. Because at the Europeans, was it a little bit different like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, getting to Spain was really difficult with corona tests and trying to travel and everything like this. So, I mean, I just went out with my mum and my groom. My sister didn't even come out. So it was really difficult because we had so much success, and it was really nice to be with my teammates who were so supportive, and it was the best team to go with. But it was just really difficult to not be able to have, like, all my family there, especially in, like, such an amazing moment, like one of my highlights. So
I did hear, though, did I hear Jenny saying earlier they had quite a big party, though, to celebrate when you get back? Was that
Where
that
was
right?
our invite? I think we're too old. What's going on,
speak
Annabella?
for yourself in that department.
Next time, come on, where's my invite? That looked like a lot of fun.
yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I really wanted to just celebrate all the hard work. Like, also my GCSE results were really good, and I just wanted to have a celebration to just celebrate the year, how it's been, and it's been amazing. And I always said if I ever won a medal, I would have a party, so I decided to stick to it, and yeah, it was amazing.
I think there's going to be a few more parties there. I think next time we should be invited. We'll be the coolest. You can dance.
I definitely am not cool. And Izzy, I mean, we're saying there about GCSE results, and this is to you as well, Annabella. You're quite not at that level of school yet, Ruby. Maybe not under pressure. How do you guys cope with that? Like the school and then the riding to this level, because it takes a lot of work on both sides. So how is that pressure?
It's definitely difficult. During my GCSEs, because we didn't actually have exams because of Corona, my school held internal exams, and my exams were at the same time that Wellington CDI was.
Helpful, really helpful.
Yeah, so I was trying to compete and internationally get my qualifying scores for the Europeans, as well as try and do my GCSE exams and revise and study. But my school is super supportive, and I think you just have to be really disciplined, and it is possible. It's just really hard, and you do have to make sacrifices elsewhere to make it possible. But I've just started sixth form. I'm doing IB, so I think it's definitely going to get harder to manage having 3 horses and also doing school, but we'll see how it goes.
You're nodding away there. Is that the same kind of experience there, Izzy?
So I stepped up to A-levels last year for sixth form, and I really struggled with managing it, and I don't know whether that was because of COVID and schools being open and closed. So I've actually decided to leave school a year early, and I'm going to be based with the Woodheads.
Wow, we have an exclusive.
That's exciting.
So you're going to focus solely on your dressage, and this is what you want to do?
Focus solely on dressage. I think with how the year was last year and how difficult it was, I just felt that I wanted to focus on one thing and do one thing well. And yeah.
Go for it. Well, you obviously have the talent, and if you know what you want to do, I wish I knew what I wanted to do when I left school. I had no idea. Ruby, let's talk about Vallegro. Come on, people there. I know you get to see him all the time and touch him and stroke. There's a lot of people here who won't have had the honour of riding him. What was it like? I've ridden him, just FYI.
She's been saying that in every interview.
Not as well as you, though, I have to add. I nearly fell off backwards when he went into canter. But how was it? What was it like?
It was definitely amazing, as he is one of the best horses in the world, and his canter was so big and it was so amazing, and I was so little then, and it was so cool, and his big changes, and then I got to play with a bit of Piaffe Passage, and I mean, he gets 10s for that, and to be able to have that experience to feel and to know how it feels like is just incredible.
And you girls, obviously, you watch the top riders in the world all the time, and I'm guessing you're inspiring to be like them. But the top horses out there from the Olympics and the Europeans, is there one you've been watching? I'll start with you, Ruby, and you might even say one of Mum and Dad's horses. Which horse would you guys like to steal right now? If you could go, right, I'm allowed that one. Whose horse from the recent successes from the Olympics would you like to steal?
I actually have no idea. It's so hard. I want to take them all home because from recently there's so many lovely young horses. So I did the elementary today, and to see the winner of the gold section, that horse was incredible. It had the most amazing canter and trot. but then you also go to watch the Europeans, and to see Delira at her best and getting those 90%, and then you want to take her home as well, because I mean, the horse is amazing and so is the rider, and their partnership is incredible, and it just wants you to have you want to have a go.
That's a great answer. And what about you, ladies? If there was a horse you could steal, or from days gone past, who would you like to have a sit on?
I mean, I agree with Ruby. How can you choose out of all the horses? But I mean, if I had to pick, I really like Catherine's Bohemian.
Yeah.
I know that he is a bit difficult, and like he was obviously a bit tricky at the Olympics, but she really brought it back at the Europeans, and she let me sit on him a few times when we went out to Denmark, and he is an incredible horse. He always gets super high marks in the Piaffe and Passage, and he's just so supple and so nice to ride with so much energy, and yeah, I would love to take him home.
You'd love to take that one. What about you, Izzy?
From the international circuit this year, of what I've seen, definitely Glamourdale.
Oh, good choice, yeah.
Incredible. His canter is insane.
Amazing. What about you, Bobby? I've never asked you that question. Who'd you like to steal?
Oh, I think it would have to be Everdale.
Ah, good
Everdale
choice.
is
Could you
incredible.
imagine
Yes.
sitting on that power?
His extended canter, when he goes, he is like a rocket, and Lottie handles it so incredibly.
Okay, right. And then finally, ladies, obviously in the world that we live in now, when Carl Hester was your age, you didn't have to worry about social media and putting our videos and TikToking and making your dad and mum TikTok. I've seen you, Rebecca Hughes, TikToking. I've seen you dancing around the kitchen due to her influence. But there's a lot of pressure on you, young ladies. I'm hoping you've got good people around you, but do you feel that pressure? Can you ignore the social media when you go in that ring? Can you just get your heads down? I mean, I know you've got a huge social media following, Annabella. What is it like now growing up in this world with social media? Izzy, how do you manage to deal with it? Because there's a lot of people come watch now.
I think it's definitely hard. I think a lot of people like to compare others, and I think you almost have to ignore it a little bit. Me and Annabella were talking earlier, we're very much that we're in a show, we have a job to do, and we deal with the social media afterwards, do a long post afterwards, kind of don't go on it during the show, and I think that's definitely the best way to be, because then you can just focus on the job and doing the best you can do.
It's hard, isn't it? Even at your age, you have to think about sponsors. We have to think about the show and the brand and the teams. But Annabella, you're the same as Izzy. You can decompartmentalise it and get home and then do that job. But in the arena, do your job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I really agree with Izzy. I don't really put much on my story at shows. I don't really do much of the Instagram while I'm at shows. I love to update my followers when I'm home and share all my success and, share training. When I'm at show, I really like to just concentrate and not put added pressure from putting things on social media that can then add pressure. And then you have to, tell your followers, oh, it didn't go so well. I'd rather make it my decision of what goes on there and not, put unneeded pressure, especially because, I never really had done super well before this season, and I always feel more and more pressure. Every win I'm I don't want to let it slip, I want to keep improving. So I definitely feel the pressure there of sharing all my success on social media. But I think it's just something the sport has highs and lows, so I think it's just really nice to be honest and open about your journey.
I think it's great that you can decompartmentalise it and you're so mature about it. And Ruby, there's one thing, though. I never will get enough of the cat. I love your cat. More videos of the cat, please. I'm requesting. I keep messaging. Where'd you get that cat from? I want that cat, Freddie Hughes. What an amazing, but also your menagerie. People love it, don't they? They love seeing the animals and the horses and you guys training at home. But that's something you as Team Hughes, you're just this big family and you share it a lot on social media. It must be a lot of fun being at your yard.
It's definitely so much fun, and I mean, it's so much fun on the yard and just being able to dance and just have loads of fun, and all the animals and the horses. It's a great atmosphere to be around.
Right, well, girls, I know this is not your favourite thing. Being on the back of a horse is your favourite thing, so I'll let you get back to your horses and to the competition. But thank you so much for coming up on the stage, because it is terrifying, but you're going to have to get used to it, because if you're this good at riding, you're going to have to do a lot of chat, okay? But congratulations. You guys have got amazing heads on your shoulders. You're inspirational to so many younger girls and boys riding, so keep up the good work. Keep bringing the medals home for us. But your young riders, guys, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.